What's up, y'all? Not the Prophet here, doing a review of The Killing Joke. Just finished watching it. Literally just ended. Just watched it and was planning to see it anyway. But after hearing so many of the poor reviews, I figured I'd kind of speed it up and see it right away and kind of share my thoughts. Like I did with Star Wars, I want to give some backdrop. I'm a big Batman fan. Next to Spider-Man, he is definitely my. They fight for my number one spot. I think Spider-Man has it, but definitely a Batman fan as well. Grew up on the Batman the animated series. Then I watched the Batman the TV series on Kids WB. Read the comics from the 1940s. So trust me, I'm pretty aware. Now I didn't get into the ones that are more recent. Just recently started getting into like the standalone ones like Dark Knight Returns, Killing Joke. So I guess you could say I'm not totally fluent in like the more recent ones, but nonetheless, definitely a Batman fan. So when I heard that they were making a live adaptation of the Killing Joke through animation, I was very excited and was looking forward. I was even more excited when I learned that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill were going to be reprising their roles. Because, like I said, I saw the animated series. I have Volume 1 and Volume 2. I don't have them with me right now, but they're downstairs. Volume 1, Volume 2. I want to get 3. I have the Mask of the Phantasm on VHS. So, yes, I love the animated series from the 90s. That's the Batman I grew up watching. So, to see these roles reprised by these people is crazy to see and to witness. So, once I heard that, I was just all on board for it and really looking forward to what they were going to do. So, just watched it, and now I didn't see it before watching the reviews, so I'd already kind of had the opinions of other people kind of filtering in and changing my opinion a little bit. But I tried to be open-minded and came into it just basically, hey, let's see what it's like, and I'm going to get as much enjoyment as I can out of it. So, I want to talk about the good first. First off, Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, exceptional. The only problems I had, sometimes Mark Hamill's delivery was a little melodramatic, a little over the top, especially on like the flashback scenes where he's supposed to be playing the Jack Napier character. It kind of felt a little ingenuine, and like I really think that's not on him. I think that's really a directional thing. Sam Liu should have been like, yo, let's tone it down. Like, we're trying to keep this thing real, and you're trying to push the performance to get an emotional response, but it's not working really. I think that could have been, if that was said, I think it could have gotten a better performance out of that part. But like I said, nevertheless, Mark Hamill as the Joker killed it, as we knew he would. That paired with the amazing writing of Alan Moore, it was a recipe for success. I thought Mark Hamill did a great job. Kevin Conroy did a great job. One thing I missed, and I really wish they would have done, is in the animated series, there's always the contrast, and Kevin Conroy's talked about this before. He always wanted there to be a distinction between Batman and Bruce Wayne, like the way they talk, their mannerisms. And there is one scene in which Bruce Wayne is just Bruce Wayne, and he's there with Alfred, and he's using his Batman voice, which I don't mind, because they did that in the animated series too, but I really would have liked to see Bruce Wayne as Bruce Wayne, kind of in a scene. But I'll get to that later as well, because I have a little bit more to say about that. Tara Strong was okay. I thought she did fine. I kind of have to get to that later too. More on the good, I thought the Killing Joke section was pretty good. The flashbacks I felt were kind of, they were underwhelming. I felt like reading the comic, it was such an emotionally just depressing. And I felt like this one just didn't deliver that same emotional response. When you learn that and I mean, I knew his wife was going to die, but I didn't care. And I don't think anybody who watches the movie, and even if they've read the comics, they haven't read the comics, they're not going to care that the wife died or the baby died. It doesn't have that same. And then also on top of that, we never really get to see Jack Napier's character responding to that whole situation. Like, these are... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the things I didn't like. First off, the whole 30 minutes in the beginning, I didn't feel like it was complete trash. I just felt like it was out of place. It didn't belong. That's probably the biggest problem and the reason why people think it's such a issue. And regarding the whole bad sex scene, honestly, I just thought about it. Watching the whole thing, that was like one of the least of my troubles and least of my issues with this movie. Yeah, I think it was a poor writing choice, but there are many worse writing choices in this movie. The biggest one probably being that whole sequence that I mean, I get it. They needed more because the material that is in The Killing Joke, there wasn't enough to really sustain a full-length movie. However, like if you're gonna add more to the film and to the story, add more in a way that it actually pertains to the story of The Killing Joke. Have some background type story stuff between Batman and the Joker that kind of sets up the relationship from the get go, so we can see where it starts. It kind of get an idea of where it was, and then see how it goes through to the end. Or maybe some stuff with Batman and Commissioner Gordon. I know there's people and when the comic book came out, there was such a lot of backlash because of the fact that Barbara Gordon was kind of disposable. However, the whole her being the central part of the beginning of the film just felt so out of place and unnecessary. Really, it didn't do anything to change how I think people are gonna see her being killed in the Killing Joke portion. So I think what they should have done is just use that screen time. Like I said, have a scene where he's just Bruce Wayne. Because the Killing Joke is focused on Batman and the Joker, so keep that the central focus of the story. Forget Barbara. I'm sorry. I'm not misogynistic. I'm not anti-Batgirl, but this is not her story. This is Batman and the Joker, and I think, as Alan Moore would probably like it as well, like focus on those two characters and their psychology. The reason why they're so complementary is a hero and a villain because of their contrasting points of views. But at the end of the day, and it's seen at the end of the comic and the end of the movie, they're not that far apart character-wise. Like both of these people they've experienced traumatic events in their life that have structured the way they are, and their motivations, and just what they do and why they do it. So I think they should have, as the writer, should have just taken that and gone, okay, let's see how we can flesh that out so that we can make it more effective. That's my other gripe. The movie just isn't effective, man. Like it feels, on the emotional level, it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon vibe, honestly. Not just because it's animated, but because of because it is a good example. I just said, talking about Batman Mask of the Phantasm, like, that's a good example of a Batman animated feature that feels very mature and very adult-like and has that emotional weight. And man, like, there's no reason why this shouldn't have been to that example, because when you have writing as good as Alan Moore's, there's no excuse for it not to be exceptionally good. Like, everything that was writing on this movie was setting it up to be something great, and I just feel like we got a low order in the end, which is unfortunate. I really was looking forward to this movie, man. I expected nothing but greatness from it. Now, I did get kind of skeptical when I saw some of the trailers that were coming out and behind the scenes. The animation didn't look that great. It looked kind of cheap, and it did look better in the film. For those that are kind of skeptical about the animation, it was better in the film, but it's still, like I said, it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon. It felt like literally they grabbed a couple animators from Disney Channel and said, hey, can you whip this up real quick for us? And they did, and that's what we got. So yeah, ultimately just disappointed. I really wanted this to be great, and it had so much potential, but I don't know, maybe someday we'll get a better film. I hope we will, but I don't think we're ever going to get Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy back again to do it over. So just a missed opportunity. But the Killing Joke portion was better. So my thing is, it's not that it wasn't good. It was all right. It's just, the problem, like I said, is that there's no reason why it shouldn't have been great. Like, they have all these wonderful things together all in the same place, and just, yeah. So my thoughts on The Killing Joke. I haven't seen Suicide Squad. I plan to. I heard some reviews about that too, so I might see that soon, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to waste my money on it, but I am intrigued and I want to see how they did. So my thoughts on that, and yeah, just wanted to share some things I thought about after seeing this, and yeah, hope you guys go check it out if you're skeptical. If you want to experience it for yourself, go do it. I'm not encouraging you to see it. I just think it wasn't that great. So yeah, anyway guys, I'm out. I'm tired. Peace.